Welcome to the Andrea and Stacy show.
I'm Andrea.
And I'm Stacy.
And it's hot up here.
It is hot up here.
It's finally warmed up a little bit, so we're excited about that.
Yeah.
I always say we're excited about that. We must be excited about a lot of things.
We are. That's why we're so happy.
You can see it on our face how excited we are. Well, I am. I'll take a warm day over a cold day any day. I also like sunshine over cloudy days. Not that I don't appreciate the latter, but you know me.
Yeah, and we had a string of cloudy days, which I thrive on, but it really did get a lot of people down.
Yeah, too much of a good thing is still too much.
For real.
I don't mind a little bit of nippiness, but as long as it hits that where I can go outside without a jacket and I move around and I feel warm.
Yeah.
My body does not ever warm up when it's cold, and so everything's like a big effort.
Yes. I don't like the cold, but I do like the cloudy.
Yeah.
I like fall. That's
That's
jam.
your season.
Yeah.
I always wondered what my season was. I took those tests, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And it always says it's like spring.
Oh.
Which maybe it is, but I always thought it was more of a summer, you know, because I like those lazy days of summer. But I don't know. Whatever. I'm sure it's all scientifically accurate.
Yeah, those Facebook Google tests.
What's with our hair today? I want to apologize now because I don't know what I have going on.
Rode to the country with the windows down a little ways. That's part because my hair was wet when I got in the car.
Yeah.
And then we were out on the side of a road for a while. So that's the other part of what's going on here. And then my hair is just not happy. I don't know why. It's curling different. I haven't changed.
Sad. Her hair is very extrovertive.
Yes.
If it doesn't get out and like get in public, and
if it doesn't have random people petting it on occasion, then
it doesn't do well. I saw a picture of mine. Dean had a Facebook memory, and it was like not shoulder. What do you call this?
Cheek, jawline.
Jawline, you know, in the straight. And I thought, ooh, just let those hair places open back up because I'm about tired of whatever this is.
Yeah, it's pretty though, that length. That's a good length.
I have people tell me that they like it that length, like shoulder length and stuff, but I'll just do what I've been doing. I pull it back and I don't enjoy it. It gets in my way, and then I'm just not happy.
That's what I do, especially if I'm outside working. It just goes up anyway. But I can't cut mine short because I don't straighten mine. And then it does what yours does when you don't straighten yours. And it gets super kinky curly.
Yeah, but it looks really cute
It's
today.
very soft, but I put a 5-minute conditioner in for the first time in a long time.
Sometimes when mine gets dry, I have like that argan oil. I just oil it up, baby. Yeah. And it takes 2 or 3 days before the oil goes away.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, as long as you don't care what you look like those 2 or 3 days, it makes all the difference for a while.
Yep. I used to oil my hair on Friday nights so that I'd have Saturday, Sunday to get it back in shape. Yeah.
Remember that VO5 hot oil treatment?
Yes.
You used to see commercials for that all the time. I wonder if they even make that stuff.
I don't know. But you could also get the tube of VO5, the conditioner. Do you ever see that?
I didn't know that.
It was like a metal toothpaste tube, like toothpaste used to come in. And you could squirt it out. But it was like a thick Vaseline.
Oh, okay.
But I would put
oil-based, like a petroleum base.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd put it on the ends of my hair.
That's a good idea.
But the VO5 hot treatments, they worked.
Because if my hair gets dry, then I can't straighten it.
Oh, yeah.
It'll just burn it.
Yeah.
And then I get all those split ends and stuff. So I've diligently not straightened my hair faithfully for a few months now. So I can just hit it hard this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it get healthed up.
Go to breather. Well, we want to tell them what we did?
Yeah.
Out in the country?
Yeah. Andrea texted me yesterday and said, hey, I found some flowers we might be interested in. On this hill on the side of the road, there were some irises.
Kind of look like, honestly, like a little washout area.
Yeah.
Like where there's the fence. There was a yard at some point, a fence line. You know, and then it goes down into a ditch, but it had like
it's like a pasture where somebody just planted some at the fence kind of a thing, but it's feet away, like feet and feet away. And so we went and dug up a bucket full of irises. We only took like one or two of each color. It looks like a lot, But irises need to be thinned out. We're not justifying our thievery. It was just on the side of the road, so we took it.
Yeah, it was fair game because they would have just got mowed over
by the city
when they come down.
Yeah. So irises have these beautiful flowers. This is not a good example because it's a few days old. And then they're in a bulb, and the bulbs will grow more bulbs, like a potato. And so you dig up the entire bulb and the little roots that are on it, and you cover all of this in dirt. Mm-hmm. And then this stays forever pretty much. It does. I mean, you can mow them down, and I prefer to do that so all the energy goes back into the bulb and it makes them. So every couple of years you've got to thin them out or you just get a mess of bulbs. And what I mean by thin them out is when there's several together, you take them apart and
otherwise it's a big woody chunk,
gnarly
and
mess.
then they have a real hard time thriving.
I'm gonna snap this off
to give them a close-up.
Here, I'll snap this.
Oh, you can take
it's prettier.
Either one. No matter to me.
So this is an iris, and we both have some. You have some.
Mine were given to me. They're kind of like
Mine were given to me too.
Memorials now because the lady that gave them to us passed away.
This one has the yellow, and this is soft and fuzzy, and you can see all the color. Now this is a few days old iris, so it's starting to wilt. So they're
typically pretty vibrant until they start fading.
But I love
a little
fuzzy parts.
Yeah.
Here. And the purple one that
the veins in them is like
really, really pretty. But I already have purple, so I was excited to find this light purple.
Yeah.
My neighbor has white ones with a purple this color line down it, and Jeff envies them from inches away. And he said, hey, I noticed you don't have any of the irises that we have. Would you want to trade some for some of the white ones? And he goes, oh, I have a bunch of those on the other side of the house. And he didn't offer for us irises, not that he had to. He just was not picking up what Jeff was putting down, and Jeff wouldn't ask outright for, hey, can I get some of those for my yard?
Our irises, we have a small little patch. One group was given to us by Dr. Escobar. She thinned out some because it is a thing, thinning them out, and brought us some. And then the lady named Betty, she gave us some, and so we call them our Betty irises, but she actually passed away just like a few months after she gave them to us. Like she had a sudden aneurysm and stuff, so it was really sad. So they're kind of like our memorial irises.
Memory irises.
Yeah. And then my grandma has a bunch along her fence row that she wants me to come thin out for her this summer because she wants to share them. And they were actually my Granny Nanny May's.
Oh, nice. And we were I had a friend just give me 2 giant black trash bags full of cannas a couple of weekends ago. And so I gave you one of the bags because it was more than enough.
They were huge.
Yeah, she had just pulled all of hers out because they were under a tree. Okay. So I have mine planted, but they haven't really started. They may just be dormant this year because they got messed up. I don't know. But you planted yours like pretty much the next day, and I waited till further in the week. Yeah, we have a few shoots coming up off of them. I imagine like they have to adjust over the trauma and stuff, but they look like they're going to be huge. Yeah. I don't know like how big they were. Some of cannas are, but then some of them are. I have a feeling by the size of those bulbs, they're
going to be big.
Yeah. And when I took them out of the sack, they had shoots on them. Yeah. Did yours?
Ours did too.
Yeah. So I'm excited about those.
And my dad gave us some bulbs, like their house they have in Blackwell. I think they're like Naked Ladies. He's not really sure what they are. I have them like in 2 5-gallon buckets, and I've got to go probably Friday and get those in the ground because they're already trying to come up, and those were in that house, and they're probably pretty old too. Yeah. I would guess these are probably at least like 30, 50 years old.
Yeah, at least.
As big as that area was that they've
and how overgrown they were on top of each other.
Yeah.
So how does that song go? You can call me Betty and I'll call you Al, or I'll call you Betty.
Just call me Al.
Yeah, just call me Al.
Man walks down the street. No, we won't. We're really gonna go into like some Paul Simon.
Oh,
You
goodness.
can call me Betty, and Betty, when you call me, you can call me Al. Yeah.
That's what it is. There's that. I feel better now.
I love that song.
Me too. Oh,
Paul
goodness.
Simon's pretty good. The Garfunkel guy always creeped me out.
Well, with a name like Garfunkel.
Is it? Yeah.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Uh-huh. I don't remember his
He put
first
the
name.
funk in the uncle.
Funk
That's
and
why
Lunk.
he was creepy. So
Yeah.
we could have took more, but we really just took 1, 2, 3, 4, just to have a start.
Yeah.
So that's going to be nice.
I'm really excited. Because the truth is, I think that property that they originally on sold, those people may love flowers. They may not. I mean, they may get a chance to bloom. They may get dug over. I don't know what. It's kind of like a real big corner section. So I imagine like somebody buying it and putting like a real fancy house or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what they have planned for it. But,
Cattle.
or cows. And like we said, along the hillside where these kind of had dropped down from, because there's power lines in the country overhead, the electric company contracts people to come down and they mow. And, it's like those big mowers, and they got those things on the side, to like keep everything back so they won't. Now there'll be a preserved specimen for years to come, no matter what the fate of the others shall be. It's fun. We love flowers. We love saving things.
Yeah.
We love stealing things.
Yeah. That's been a theme here.
It's not true. It is true. It's not.
I do love it. Sort of.
No, it's cool. I'm a seed snatcher too. Like when you go to some place and like it's like, here's this like 500-year-old like trees probably don't really live 500 years, but tree that's like been on this estate forever, and like we're pocketing like nuts and seeds and berries.
Yes. Or my favorite is to go to like Home Depot or Lowe's and go into where like their succulents are and just pick up the little pieces that fall off.
Yeah.
Or if there's a piece of ivy, if you get a piece of ivy that's like this long and the end is bad, it doesn't matter. You just cut that, put it in water, and it'll root.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a little ivy, which will die as soon as I put it in soil for some reason. It can live in water for years at my house, but the minute I try to give it actual nutrients, not the random fly that dies in the water.
It's true, though. Do you know the workaround I found for that? Start slowly adding the soil to the water.
Good idea. Yeah, because the roots just aren't ready for that weight of the soil and not having the air like they're used to.
Yeah. And then if they dry out once, then it's done.
It's Dunsky. Dunsky Rolly.
Plants are cool.
Well, I figure I'll be going back to work in a week or so, and that's exactly when my regret of not doing anything over the last 4 weeks will hit. Right now I'm still riding the wave, though.
Well, if you stayed home, if you relaxed, if you enjoyed your time, if you truly took a vacation from life, then it was time well spent.
Absolutely, as much as you can.
There was never some undone agenda, only what you make on your own. So.
No, I didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
I did pick out what I want on my mural on the neighbor's garage.
Yes.
That's,
it's shared property because it actually, it's your line.
I'm going to do a dark blue green, like a midnight blue, as close to that as I can get. I'm just going to do a big, like this across the whole bottom. And then the whole top's going to be gray. And then I'm going to do a giant pink moon.
Ooh, that'll be good.
And then to add variant, I'm going to get a little bit of white and mix in with the gray and the blue and kind of hit it here and there just to give it some whatnot.
That'll be gorgeous. I love that already.
And if you don't know that it's a moon, it'll just look geometric.
Yeah.
So it won't matter.
Yeah.
But I'll know it's the pink moon, full moon, low in the sky. So I'm super excited about that, which I don't have a power washer, and Dad has one, so I need to see what the 411 is on that, because I don't know if he has to hook it up to his giant compressor or what.
I don't know how they work.
You can Well, I mean, when Dad buys tools and things, he buys like the big industrial type
Right.
stuff, and I'm like, what's Walmart got for $50? So
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's because I'm not a big tool person. I also don't have a garage or a shop to store things in, and it would just
makes a difference.
Yeah.
And sometimes the one and done project.
Really.
He'll use he's got like 50 jobs in mind.
Yeah. And when I rent one, or if he does have one, I know he has one. I just don't know how complicated it is to use. I will do all the concrete,
breaking glass, and like shredding siding.
I'll do the deck. I'll just hit everything all at once. It'll be a big water world day, and it'll probably be 30 degrees that day. But I'll have to do it because I borrowed it for one day or rented it that day, or that's usually how it goes.
A coat of ice all over.
Have you ever sandblasted in a house before?
No, I've never used a sandblaster. I've seen them used like
they're
behind
really
the tent things,
they're
but I've never
pudic.
used
Mom
it.
and Dad's house where the drive is, that used to be a carport.
Okay.
And those rocks that are on their porch were pillars. There are 3 that were on the side of the carport. Well, they enclosed all that, and Dad enclosed the pillars into the room downstairs. So they enclosed it. I'm not really sure what the thought process here was, but they sandblasted it before they finished anything.
Oh, wow.
And I was young, but it was cool. I remember,
That's awesome.
yeah, thinking how cool it was.
That's awesome. Might have to. When I take that siding off that house out there, and if I go back to the wood siding, it's got paint on it, and I'm sure it's that lead paint.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the best way to get it off, and someone had mentioned having it sandblasted.
Yeah, it takes no time at all. And it's easier to hire somebody than do it yourself because they have the ladders and
won't hurt themselves like I would.
Yeah, I won't turn around and say, what? And sandblast your neighbor? Yeah, been there. Yeah, it works well. But you have to reclaim that sand and use it if you're not going to just leave. You know what I mean?
I think our whole yard out there is sand.
Yeah, probably could just get a leaf blower and shoot it at the house.
Pretty much. We'll see how that goes. God, man. Exciting times, but so much to do. So few days. Hate feeling that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yup. I have like small projects I want to do, but they're like take no time at all to do, but they cost like $75. And once you start adding those
so you gotta
up,
be vested in it.
Yeah, it's like really what the heck? I don't just don't feel like spending money right now, really.
I wanted to order tote bags, with the logo and stuff on it, and then just for the people that signed up, and it was going to be like $250, and I was like, I just can't justify that. I just couldn't justify the expenditure on a novelty.
You'd be better off ordering stickers and putting it on the side of the ice chest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not necessary either. I'm just saying.
I decided, because I thought about the stamp and the bag and everything, and I thought, no, maybe one day there'll be a need for branding, but right now it's not that time. And
yeah, it's more important if you are going to brand on social media right now than it is on a bag that one person's family sees.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be hauled out anywhere.
They'll likely never really use it,
Yeah.
So there's just no point. You used to be able to get advertising type stuff pretty cheap. Now it's hard. It's hard.
Ooh, I made bread in. I forgot we had a bread machine. Carol gave me her old bread machine, and it's a fine bread machine, but mine is bigger.
Yeah,
like holds more. And I don't know if I talked about it on here, but I've been trying to find a recipe. I've made several loaves of bread, and they are not up to snuff. Like, we're not even finishing them. And when I bake bread, it's gone that day. Like, when I bake it in the oven. I know that I want butter, not oil. I don't want to throw an egg in there. So I weed out all these recipes. I found a recipe. I'm going to have to cut it back a little bit because it's too much for the bread machine. It overflowed a little, but it baked. It just was this weird top. 3.5 cups of flour And 2, I didn't sift the flour. I just used a spoon and kind of fluffed it in there. If I sifted it, I bet that'd make a difference, actually. I may try that before I alter the recipe. A 3rd cup of lukewarm milk.
That was my favorite thing at my grandma's.
1 1/3 cup of lukewarm water. 4 tablespoons of butter, which I slightly melted just because it made me feel better. 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1 1/2 tablespoons of salt, which I felt like was a lot, but it needed it. And 1 1/2 tablespoons of yeast. And I think it took it almost 4 hours because this bread machine will let it rise and then knock it back down where the other one skipped that step.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So good.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, I just remembered Jeff asked me to send that to him, and I asked him why, and he said, because I'll be working from home and I can start bread in the morning. And I thought,
nice. Well, send it to me. I want to
Okay.
try it.
I will.
Bread is not my forte.
I put in the liquid first.
To put the yeast in there with the warm water?
No.
Oh.
Because all the recipes that I read, they said to do the opposite. The liquid in first, then I did the flour, the salt, the sugar, and then the yeast is on top. And then it works it down.
That makes more sense because
that way it's not just cooking in there.
Yeah, and the yeast is distributed through the mix instead of trying to.
Right.
Yeah, that makes.
I will send it to you. And then Jeff made made a meal that he talked about for 2 days. Went to the store and bought everything individually for. He bought a tray of squash, zucchini, and tomatoes already cut. And shoved it in the oven with butter. It was really good. He got some kind of a noodle. It wasn't spaghetti, but it was a skinny noodle like that. Cooked that. Cooked mushrooms down to where they were almost nothing, which is my favorite way to eat mushrooms. And butter, salt, and pepper. And then he made a white wine reduction sauce. Nice. And he had me taste it. He was super nervous. I think it's because he knew it didn't taste quite right. It was good, but it wasn't quite right. And I said, it just hasn't cooked long enough because it still had that wangy wine taste. I said, just keep cooking it, keep stirring it. And he put steak and chicken in the cast iron skillet and cooked it in the oven, you know? So, and not shallots. He cooked shallots. So, he mixed the shallots and the mushrooms in the pasta. And he asked me if he should put the sauce, and I said no, because that way I can put as much sauce on mine as I want instead of making that. It would have been fine. But, so, also I wanted sauce for my steak if I liked it. So he let that cook down, and it burnt off a little more wine, you know. And it was so dang good.
Sounds really good.
And we had it with my bread.
Sounds really good.
That was really, really good.
Better than Zio's?
Yes, better than Zio's.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's never done a wine reduction sauce or anything like that.
I like that red wine in the French roast, when you put the roast in the oven and put the wine in there.
Yeah.
I've never made just a sauce where I've had to reduce it for pasta, but I do put it in the pot roast when I put it in the oven. It doesn't work in the crock pot. You really have to use the oven for that one and brown the roast before you put it in.
A lot of people use beer with their chicken in the oven too. I just never think to try it.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it, but it gives it that golden whatever. So Allison said they have $2.50 and $3 bottles of wine at Walmart. So if you want to experiment with some cooking, drink the bottle of wine, then try to cook.
There's something about, it's limited ingredients, but when it's the right ingredients and it's done the right way, that makes it good. I watched this series, it's called The Outsider, and what it is, it's a guy's YouTube channel, and he's Canadian, and he knows a lot about plants, flora, and all that stuff, and he goes out and he'll do about an hour episode, if that, and he highlights 2 or 3 things, and he shows you, this is what I do with it, and this is what it says you can do with it, and this is how you eat it safely. And he has a disclaimer about, don't take his word for it and check your sources and everything. But he went out, and in Canada about this time, wild leeks start coming up. I wish we had those. Like, they have them there, like, everywhere. And they got, like, a couple handfuls of leeks. And they made this, like, boiled, like, a potato chopped up with the shallots and garlic. And just, reduced it. And then at the last part, chopped the leeks, put them in there, let it simmer. And then they took one of those, like, immersion blenders and, like, made it smooth. And it was, like, a leek soup, I guess is what you call it. But it did have the potato base, but it was a leek soup, and I guess it was like a gourmet
Did I
recipe.
say shallots?
Yeah.
I meant scallops.
Scallops. What's the
little white things?
Oh, I don't like the like shellfish things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like those.
Yeah.
And but it was like a gourmet recipe, like one of their 5-star Canadian restaurants. That was like their recipe.
Basically free. It's a potato and free
potato
shallots.
and some like grass.
Yeah. I mean, free. Leeks.
Yeah. He got fancy with the seafood. I don't like seafood.
I love seafood.
I love any kind of fish, but I won't eat shellfish.
Now, I don't know if I'd love it if I lived on the coast my whole life, but I could definitely, anytime anybody's like, you want to eat seafood, I'm down.
Isn't it Dean? He gets real excited. I have a nephew that gets real excited about eating seafood. I think my dad likes it too. Yeah.
We need to cook some seafood. Maybe that's what we'll do when we all get back together. We'll just do a boil and call it good. I don't know. It really hasn't affected us getting together because it's just my parents and my brother, and then, that we see each other. So it really hasn't stopped us from seeing each other.
I don't think anything's really changed. I don't know what it's, I mean, I don't know what it's like for people that rely on that, like, social circle that, like, to get them by, they like to go out every night, or they like to hang out here or hang out there.
I feel like the majority that's a younger group than I'm in. I think that your 25 to 30-year-olds really thrive off of going out and going out to eat, going out to see their friends, like sit down and eat and hang out and catch up. And we just don't have time for that.
No. We've always kept a tight circle, so.
Yeah, it would have to be something super special for me to be drug out. Short of just a dinner with Jeff and the kids.
I've even left things that I've enjoyed just because the crowd gets too thick.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad idea if they really start limiting numbers, because there's like a capacity level for everything from a restaurant to the zoo or whatever it is. But there are days that it's just way over that.
And that capacity level is set for fire
Safety.
Codes and things like that. So there's enough time for people to get out and not trample each other.
If you can't even get out of like the reptile house at the zoo, when you're not in a hurry, just because you just want to leave.
The zoo itself can hold so many
like,
people, but each thing inside the zoo can only hold so many people and still be safe. Yeah.
Right. And I'll like pass an exhibit up if it's like busy, and then I'll try to go back to it. But
I haven't been to the zoo in so long. I haven't. The last time I did, they were still working on the bat house, if that tells you anything.
Wow. I guess it's really a younger kid thing. That's what kind of gets you there. They found that dip in the road.
Yeah, they did.
Because we started going, with Kimber.
Yeah.
That's when
we used to have like the family pass and would go all the time, but
if I lived closer, I would get that annual pass.
Absolutely.
So I could just go walk.
I would also do the Frontier City and the Whitewater one too for the kids, but there was only so much money in going to the zoo or going somewhere else. You just went somewhere else as the kids got older because it was more fun.
Yeah, and that in the big commitment, like Frontier City, that's a committed day. Getting there.
Yeah.
You're going to spend time waiting, in lines, doing the rides, waiting if it's summer till it cools off again, to enjoy it again. And Whitewater, after you do that, you don't really go anywhere else. You go home kind of to change.
2 years ago, I went to Disney. Is it World in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's
2 years ago with Turner and the band from the high school. And that one, you really could spend more than one day. But the one day we were there I was happy. I could say I went and experienced everything I wanted to. However, those people there and in California buy day passes like they do for Frontier City here, which is an amusement park.
Yeah.
Roller coasters and stuff. And I thought, how cool would that be to not have any pressure? You roll in there, because you don't live far from there. You hit
short drive.
Like the one section that you like, and then next time you hit a different section. And you can spend as much time at that section and not feel like you have to move on, and you could
do
try
the whole park.
Yeah, and you could try one restaurant and you could try it where you order one thing or two things and everybody tries it instead of it being like a $200 meal just to eat, because it's so expensive there.
Absolutely.
You don't feel pressured to spend hundreds of dollars on food.
Yeah,
because you can roll in and out and just have the snacks, the good stuff.
Yeah. It's not like that's your one day to be there and get everything done. It would definitely be, that would be a very big convenience.
Yeah. I know G has sent me pictures and posted pictures where he goes on walks and stuff, and he's in California. Not that all of California looks the same, but it's quintessential California. California? What?
California, they do have cows. They're happy there. That's what the commercial says.
They are happy there. Truth and advertisement right there. But we have just as much pretty stuff here. I mean, you and I were on a sandy beach the other day in 30-degree weather.
Yeah, we were. With that wind slapping us in the face coming off that.
If you go to the right areas, you can see a palm tree, because people do try to plant them here.
Yeah, they'll grow. I mean, they'll grow for 20 years, and then you get that one freeze that they can't recover from, and then it's gone forever. So that'd be like losing a loved one. But you can get them to grow pretty easy. There's like one palm called the Chinese fan palm that'll do good.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah, they use those in a lot of restaurant and stuff.
I gotta quit saying my apologies for that. I'm just distracting myself with gadgets. One of these days, I'm gonna figure it out. While yours goes down and mine goes up.
I don't know.
There, did it.
Yay.
That just always bothered me. I don't know why. Okay.
Better now.
It is. Much.
I think tomorrow all my tomato plants will go in the ground. Jeff got the ground turned with the shovel. And then today, when I get back, I'll go pick all the things out of it that don't belong there and bust up anything that needs to be busted up. So maybe tonight, since we're doing this early, I'll get it done. But I don't know. I'm not going to pressure myself.
See how it comes.
Yeah.
I had a picture last year. This time we had a whole bunch of squash. I mean, that's how like warm it,
was already.
How many weeks we've not lost to the cold, but like how much it's been delayed this year as compared
my
to the last
squash
few.
in the greenhouse, one of them's blooming. I'm tempted just to pick the blooms off because it's not going to do any good anyway.
I wonder if some of ours is going to survive the transplant, because they kind of been in one spot too long. They may get in the ground and be like, yes.
Yeah.
Or they might be like, I give up.
I've been moving them out in the daytime and then putting them back at night just because I have that rogue chicken that I'm afraid.
She has rogue chicken.
Yeah. I'm afraid it will eat all of it if I leave it out.
Yeah.
At the greenhouse.
But it is that time, so
yeah,
that's great.
Catch itself up.
I like the days where I spend more time outside than inside.
Yeah, I do too.
Those days are coming.
Yeah, I do too.
Had a few good weekends like that, but I need more during the day.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I was just mentally going over the list of 5 million things I need to do in my yard and stuff.
Oh,
it's like running down the list. Nope, but it was a good day.
It was a good day.
I think we should call it a wrap because my mind keeps jumping into like a different realm. So,
all right.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys
later.
next time.
Bye.